Ananda in Southern California, would like to welcome you. We have the great privilege and honor that Swami Kryananda, one of the last living direct disciples of Paramahansa Yogananda, will speak and share with us this evening. And before we get started, as a way of introduction, a lot of what we share through Yogananda's teachings is through the heart and through vibration. And Swamiji has been a prolific composer of music, so we'd like to start this evening by sharing one of the songs that he's composed called Life is a Dream. And then after our music, Swamiji will address us with some words on the goal of life is bliss and how we can achieve that. And then at the end of our program, we'll have another song written by Swamiji, which we'll share with you as well. So, yes, turn on the
When I was 30 years old, I said, I bet when I'm 82, I'll be saying the wonderful thing about this path is that it gives you strength. And here I am, nearly 85, and somehow chugging away. I met my guru back in 1948. Before a few of you were born. And I must say, it has been an absolutely wonderful journey. I know that some of you have come to this exposition or expo for a quick fix. I'm not going to give you a quick fix, but I do want to give you a simple one. And that's my purpose tonight. I remember I was born into the biggest business in the world, Exo or Exxon today. I grew up in that. All the influence that I had was toward money. It always amused me to see how my parents and their friends, as soon as the word money was mentioned, very serious. It meant absolutely nothing to me. I remember saying to my father when I was 16, Dad, he wanted to get me a tuxedo. I said, Dad, don't bother, I'll never wear it. In fact, I'll never earn enough money to pay income tax. And that's been true. I just didn't care, I didn't want it. But I did want truth, and I wanted it desperately. And I tried finding it through astronomy, through political systems, through everything I could think of, except God. Because my church taught me about a God I did not like. I didn't like this fellow who was vengeful and waiting for us to make a mistake so he could clap us into prison for eternity. It just didn't make sense to me. And I remember, however, reaching the point where I thought, well, everything ends in God. Without God, nothing makes sense. And I remember I was studying to be a playwright at the time. So it's not as if I had an ambition to be a playwright. Yes, I had several opportunities to be successful in this world. I studied singing. My singing teacher, she was an old lady. She said, I'm only living for one thing now, and that's to see you become a great singer. I never went back to her. I'm sorry, I hated her feelings. I didn't want to show off my voice. I wanted to sing about truth. And then I wanted to be a playwright. And quite a few people thought I would be a front-ranking playwright. And I realized one day what I wanted to be a playwright for was to share truth with people. And I didn't know truth. So why flood the world with my ignorance? And so I just left that too. And I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. And then I found Autobiography of a Yogi. And I don't know, it completely went against everything I believed. Miracles I had made, mockery of miracles. It said so many things. I didn't know anything about Indian philosophy. It said so many things that just didn't make sense to me. But my heart was convinced. And because my heart was convinced, I followed my nectar, the next bus across the country. And the first words I said to Yogananda when I met him were, I want to be your disciple. I admit my intellect, I had gone by intellect, but it was totally confused. I had to sit down every 15 minutes and sort of calm my mind. But I knew this was right because my heart knew it was right. I say for the start, if you want to know truth, follow your heart. Don't follow your brain. Don't follow what makes sense to you, because your heart will guide you rightly. This is why we're living in an age of energy now. And this is why I have to say that women are going to come into the forefront in this age, because they go more by feeling. We've had enough of too much intellect. Look at the Catholic Church, they're all men. One beautiful thing about our community is that there are just as many women as men in positions of authority. Because we don't see any difference. We don't even make jokes on the subject. We're the same. Yes, we have different ideas of what's practical and so on. We are different, but vive la différence. We need that difference. We need that balance. Women call men impractical. Men call women impractical. They're both right in their own way. It's just But the thing that I want to help you to understand is that, yes, I reached the point one day when I took a long walk out into the night, and I asked myself, if there's a God, because everything tells me I had to go through reason, that was my nature. But it led me to the point where God had to exist, but I couldn't reconcile that thought with what God really is. And I said to myself, if there's a God, what must he be like? And I thought, and I realized what's making me ask this question. The fact that I'm conscious. Then he has to be consciousness. He can't be a form, he can't be a man or a policeman or a judge or anything. He has to be consciousness. If that's the case, then the more in tune I am with that consciousness, the more I will have what I want. And the more I'm out of tune with that consciousness, the more unhappy I am, and the less clear I am in my consciousness. And so I decided then, the purpose of life has to be only one, to seek God. And believe it or not, I decided that night I would seek God. At first I thought I was going crazy, because I never heard of anybody who sought God. I never heard of saints and people like that. I didn't know they existed. I thought, who ever heard of anybody seeking God? It seemed like an impossibility. But I knew that's what I had to do. And when I came upon autobiography of a yogi, that's what changed my mind. Well, now what I'm offering you this evening is, as I say, not a quick fix, but a simple one. The more you go toward simplicity, the happier you'll be. I don't say give up things. I say give up attachment to things. Yes, you may need to have a house and a bed and a few things like that. Yes, you may. There are a lot of unnecessary necessities, but we certainly do have some necessities. And I'm not recommending poverty. I remember in India, where I've spent some years, I noticed that the people who went to the ashrams of saints were always people of middle or upper middle class. They had the conveniences of life, and they were free to be able to think about more. But when you're busy worrying about where your next meal is coming from, it's difficult to think about God. So in fact, I don't recommend giving everything up. I recommend giving up attachment to things. Simplify your lives. This is a part of what I want to say. But there's much more than that, and it gets to be fascinating. You know, I saw an advertisement for a young man, or for young people, to take up the glorious career of a pharmacist. Well, of course, you and I might not think that was all that glorious, but they were showing this young man looking up like this. Where else would he look if you want to show him inspired? Everywhere in the world, there are certain things that we know are true. When you're looking up, you're feeling more inspired. When you feel downcast, you slump, you look down. Everything shows that. And this is not something that the Chinese decide that, well, when I'm like this, I feel happy. It's universal. There are other things that are universal. Why is it that all over the world, when people want to show respect for somebody, they bow? Everywhere, Japan, China, Europe, America, South America, you look for it, it just won't exist. That's always what they do. When they want to show respect, they bow. Why? Okay, I'll explain something to you. And I think this will be very interesting to you as we go further into it. When the sperm and the ovum come together at the beginning, they form in the medulla oblongata, at the base of the brain. And as they form there, they form the body, they go down the spine, the